such simple garden task as watering our plants, especially watering in containers, is so often overlooked. Suddenly everybody understands, as long as we remember two rules: how to stick our finger and see if the soil is wet, and make sure we have drainage holes in the soil, in the pots. As long as we have these two rules, we are all good and we know how to water. Well, it's better to see how much water that pot can hold actually than to learn about it in books. So we are going to water today. Simple watering task in the garden. We are going to walk around and water our plants, and we are going to talk about all different features of the soil. For example, cation exchange capacity of the soil. I never knew nothing about it before I became master gardener. It's basically the water retentive feature, how soil can retain water better, and what we can do about it. I'm struggling with this in my raised beds, so I will tell you what I'm doing different this year for my raised beds as well. Olga Carmody with you today, and my roses are starting to bloom. So you're going to see them in this video as well. They're not open yet 100%, but it is starting. The wave of beauty is rolling into my garden. Here my salvia is growing very happily. I have to turn the pot around for it to be nice and balanced. And let's look how much of water this container takes. And I make sure that I leave plenty of space between the soil and the edge of the container. Not to overspill water all the time, right? So I can fill good amount of water without spilling and then wait for it to drain. And very often beginner gardeners, there is big garbage here. Very often the beginner gardeners make that mistake. They water their container once and they move on. What I do, I water the container once and then I come back and water it second time. Oh, here's the most beautiful chipmunk. He is going to make a presence on our camera. No, he's drinking water. Sorry guys, I wish you would see this chipmunk. He is so cute. All right, he ran away. Well, back to our watering, right? Chipmunk ran away. So why do I go back and water it again? Well, in case my container soil became too dry, it is not going to hold water very well, so it's not going to get, not going to absorb water very well. What will happen, the soil in the pot will shrink. There would be gap between the pot and the soil, majority of cases, especially if the soil mix has a lot of peat in it. And then when you water, all that water runs between the soil edge and the pot, runs all the way down. You see water coming out, right, like it did here, and you think your plants are watered. Well, they are not. The soil there is too dry, it didn't absorb the water, water ran through the edges, and you think you watered your plant, and your plant is struggling because there's no moisture in the soil. So what I do also, I don't wait for my soil in the pots to get very dry or on a dry side. I see that that soil is still nice and has somewhat good amount of moisture in it, and then I go ahead and I water it. And in my climate here in Connecticut, where zone 7A, we don't have super hot weather like, let's say, in Florida, in warmer climates. I water once in the morning. Some smaller containers like these here, maybe I will water twice, but that's my schedule, and you have to decide what is the best watering schedule for you. Maybe maybe once every 2 days, and just follow that schedule for the good health of your plants. So let's water this pot again. And the soil here was not really dry, so I can see that the water is absorbed well. My salvia is very thirsty. I know it by growing the salvia for 2 years in my garden. It drinks a lot of water, and again, it depends what type of plant you have. Some plants do not need a lot of water. That's a need of the plant, and some plants do. Looks like this salvia absorbs huge amount of water. All right, I think this would be enough for this salvia for the day. Let's water the honeyberry near the fence. I get it. Subscribing feels like commitment, but look at this weed. He feels that he can stick around without doing a good job of a wonderful garden plant. Be like basil. Subscribe. My honeyberry is super hidden here among all the plants, so it is easy to forget it. That's another thing. Don't forget all your pots, right, on the property where you planted your precious plants. And the same thing applies here. I water it deeply, I water it a lot, I wait for soil to get hydrated. And what I like to do for pots, I take my nozzle off my watering can and I don't do this swooshing motion. I irrigate, everything is wet, foliage is wet, and I assume that pots are watered. So let's see how much this pot is going to take. Let's water and wait. You see how much water I put into the pot? Surprisingly a lot, right? I'm going to move this pot temporarily out on another side because it is distracting all the views which are rightfully belonging to Lady of Shalott, and it's blocking all the beautiful view here. So when my Lady of Shalott finishes blooming, that plot will go back again. Just look at this. Oh my gosh, this year Lady of Shalott will shine. But I want to mention one more thing for you. How to make watering something not as a dreadful chore, but something beautiful. What I did, and I talked to you about it already, but it's important to do it again, to talk it out again. I get up in the morning, and the first thing, what I do, not the first thing, but one of the first things, I go into the garden, I check the weather, and I do the watering. In those several minutes of watering of pots at the back makes a huge difference in the life of the gardener. So I would advise for you to do the same, trying to connect beautiful experience with watering, and then eventually you're going to love it. I feel the thirst of the plants in the morning. I give the water and I know that they're going to be hydrated to meet the sun, which will be coming not right away. Sun doesn't come here right away in the morning, so I have that nice window to water, and then sun comes and I know all my plants are happy, they're not going to wilt, they're meeting the sun. And it's one of the, now it's my wonderful chore in the garden, which is full of pleasure, and I truly enjoy it. So I want for you to enjoy it too. And now let's talk about cation capacity of soil, exchange capacity of soil, and why I'm struggling here in Connecticut in my raised beds. Well, it is the ability of soil to hold moisture. So basically what happens in the soil, because there are different ingredients of the soil, the surface of the particles is so much bigger that water has basically spaces to stay and not run away. And what people do, how to improve that capacity, water holding capacity of the soil, is either to add organic matter or to add the substance which helps soil to hold on to moisture, which is clay. And some soils do have a lot of clay in their buildup, and those soils drain extremely difficult. They get waterlogged on a regular basis. Plants hate it. So there are different challenges for gardeners who garden on clay soil. Well, my story is different. I have very sandy soil, and especially in raised beds, the evaporation happens so much faster, and I struggle. So I did add a lot of organic matter, it's not helping. So what I am trying to do, I'm doing research on the bentonite clay additive, bentonite soil, which is basically clean, refined clay, and we have to be very careful how we do it. And by the way, in our master gardening class, we were told never to advise anybody to bring soil from forests and fields and wherever, because not only because you can damage those areas, but you can bring a lot of pests, unwanted pests, into your garden. So be careful when you do that. In my case, I want to purchase this soil, but I never did it before. So master gardeners out there, tell me if you had experience with this bentonite soil. Please let me know. I'm going to try it this year, very lightly, mix it with my soil in raised beds and see if the water retentive capacity of my raised beds would be improved. And the last suggestion which I have for all of us to water our plants well in pots would be to invest into quality potting mixes. Don't assume that potting mix on the shelf is the same as another potting mix from the cheap dollar store. Look into the label and see what are the ingredients of those mixes, and educate yourself. If you don't know what the ingredient is, go ahead and read about it, and you would be able to tell, is this a quality mix or not? So these are the potting conundrums for us gardeners. Let me know what I missed. Maybe we have suggestions for other gardeners under this video in the messages. And as always, happy gardening, and I will see you in our next video.